Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. You know me, I love a good story, a thought-provoking idea, and the occasional existential crisis. But today, we're diving into a topic that can trip up even the best of us. Commonly misspelled words and tips on how to be a better proofreader. Because let's be real, there's nothing quite as embarrassing as sending out an important email or publishing a blog post only to realize later that there should have been there. We've all been there, right? So whether you're a student, a professional writer, or just someone who wants to avoid those cringe-worthy typos, stick around for some helpful tips and tricks. Okay, so before we get to the nitty-gritty of specific words, let's talk about why proofreading even matters. Proofreading is often the final step in the writing process, but it's one of the most crucial. It's the stage where you catch those pesky little errors that can slip through the cracks during the initial writing and editing phases. I mean, is it really the end of the world if you miss a typo here and there? Some might argue that a small mistake is no big deal, but let's dig a little deeper. Well, yes and no. Look, I'm all for embracing imperfection, but the truth is, typos can affect how others perceive us and our work. When you present a document riddled with errors, it can make you seem careless or unprofessional. A misplaced comma or a misspelled word can distract from your message and even make you seem less credible. It's like trying to enjoy a beautiful painting with a smudge right in the middle of it. The smudge draws your attention away from the overall beauty. Think about it. You're more likely to trust a well-written article with perfect grammar than one riddled with errors, right? It's the same reason why we prefer clean, organized spaces over cluttered ones. It's like the difference between a polished presentation and a messy one. A polished presentation shows that you've put in the effort and care about the details, which in turn makes your audience more likely to take you seriously. Plus, in a world of online communication, where first impressions are everything, you want your writing to shine. Your emails, articles, and social media posts are often the first way people get to know you, so make them count. So, let's start with a word that often trips people up: separate. It's a common word, but it's also commonly misspelled. It's easy to accidentally swap the E and the A, but remembering the correct spelling is crucial. Think of it as a small but significant step towards ensuring your writing is taken seriously. Trust me, mastering these seemingly small details can make a big difference in how your writing is received. It's all about building trust and showing that you care about your work. Separate, a word that seems so simple, yet it often trips people up. Such a small word, yet so often misspelled. It's one of those words that can make even the best spellers pause and think twice. But fear not, my friends, for I have a mnemonic device that will banish those spelling demons forever. It's a simple trick that will stick with you. Are you ready? Here it is. There's a rat in separate. Yes, you heard that right. Picture a little rat nestled in the middle of the word. Repeat after me. There's a rat in separate. This quirky image will help you remember the correct spelling every time, see? It's silly, it's memorable, and it works. Sometimes the silliest tricks are the most effective. Next time you're about to write separate, just picture that pesky little rat, and you'll instantly remember the correct spelling. It's a foolproof method. And hey, if you're someone who struggles with visual mnemonics, that's okay. Everyone learns differently. Find a way that works for you. Maybe you prefer auditory cues or kinesthetic learning methods. Maybe you can associate the word with a song lyric or a movie quote. The key is to make it personal and relevant to you. The point is, finding creative ways to remember spellings can make all the difference. It turns a chore into a fun challenge. So go forth and conquer separate once and for all. With the right tools and a bit of creativity, you can master any word. Let's move on to another word that tends to cause some spelling confusion, definitely. Now, why is this word so tricky? Well, I think it's that pesky combination of vowels in the middle. It's like they're playing musical chairs and we can never remember who's supposed to sit where. But here's the thing, definitely is simply the adverb form of definite. So, if you can remember how to spell definite, you're already halfway there. Just add an li at the end, and boom, you've got yourself a correctly spelled definitely. And remember, there's no a in definitely. Think of it this way, you're definitely not going to misspell this word again. Now let's talk about a proofreading tip that can help you catch those pesky misspellings. Read your writing aloud. This technique is often overlooked, but it can be incredibly effective in identifying errors that you might miss when reading silently. I know it might seem a little strange at first and you might feel a bit awkward doing it, but trust me on this one. The benefits far outweigh the initial discomfort. When we read silently, our brains tend to autocorrect errors, glossing over mistakes without us even realizing it. This is especially true if we're already familiar with the text. Our minds fill in gaps and correct mistakes automatically, but when we read aloud, we're forced to slow down and pay attention to each individual word. This deliberate pace helps us notice errors we might otherwise miss. It's like giving your writing a fresh pair of eyes, allowing you to see it from a new perspective, even if those eyes belong to you. This new perspective can be incredibly valuable in catching mistakes. Plus, reading aloud can help you catch other errors like awkward phrasing or missing words. It can also highlight areas where the flow of your writing might be off. So, next time you're proofreading, find a quiet spot, channel your inner Shakespeare, and don't be afraid to get a little dramatic. Read that masterpiece out loud. You'll be surprised at how many errors you can catch and how much more polished your writing will become. Our next word is a mouthful, and it's one that often trips people up: accommodate. 2 C's, 2 M's, and a whole lot of vowels. It's enough to make anyone's head spin. But don't worry, we've got this. The key here is to remember that accommodate is all about making space for something or someone. Think of it like a spacious room with plenty of accommodations for everyone. And just like that spacious room needs 2 doors, accommodate needs 2 M's. See? We're already making progress. Let's talk about a mnemonic device that can help you remember the spelling of accommodate forever. Remember those 2 CS and 2 M's we talked about? Well, here's a little rhyme to help you keep them straight. 2 C's for come, 2 M's for make more room. Repeat after me: 2 C's for come, 2 M's for make more room. It's silly, it's a little bit nonsensical, but it works. So the next time you're struggling to remember whether it's 1 C or 2, just remember those welcoming CS and those spacious M's. And hey, if you have a different mnemonic device that works for you, share it in the comments below. Let's talk about another common proofreading pitfall and how to avoid it. Have you ever spent hours working on a piece of writing, only to find it riddled with errors after you hit send? Yeah, me too. It's like our brains get so used to seeing the same words over and over again that they start to gloss over the mistakes. That's why it's so important to take breaks when you're proofreading. Step away from your computer, go for a walk, grab a snack, do whatever you need to do to clear your head. When you come back to your writing, you'll be able to see it with fresh eyes and catch those errors you might have missed before. Okay, let's move on to another word that often causes spelling struggles: embarrass. It's a word that can make us feel, well, embarrassed if we misspell it. But fear not, my friends, because I'm here to help you conquer this spelling demon once and for all. The key to remembering the correct spelling of embarrass is to focus on the double R and the double S. Think of it this way: if you're feeling embarrassed, you might blush twice as hard, hence the double R. And the double S? Well, that's just to make sure you never forget how truly embarrassing it is to misspell this word. We've talked about reading aloud and taking breaks, but there's another proofreading tip that can be a lifesaver: using your tools. No, I'm not talking about hammers and nails here. I'm talking about the amazing world of spell checkers and grammar checkers. These digital wonders can catch those pesky typos and grammatical errors that our tired eyes might miss. From the trusty spell checker built into your word processor to online tools like Grammarly, there's a whole arsenal of resources at your disposal. Of course, it's important to remember that these tools aren't foolproof. They can sometimes flag correct words as incorrect or miss errors altogether. But they're still incredibly helpful for catching those obvious mistakes and saving you from potential embarrassment. So, there you have it, a crash course in commonly misspelled words and proofreading tips. We've covered a lot of ground today, from the importance of proofreading to mnemonic devices to helpful tools. But the most important takeaway is this: proofreading is a skill, and like any skill, it takes practice. The more you proofread your writing, the better you'll become at catching those errors and producing polished, professional-looking work. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. Embrace them as learning opportunities, and keep practicing those proofreading skills. And remember, even the best writers make mistakes. What sets them apart is their commitment to catching those mistakes and putting their best foot forward. Thanks for watching. If you found these tips helpful, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content. And be sure to share this video with your fellow word nerds who might appreciate a little spelling and grammar boost. Remember, the ability to communicate effectively through writing is a powerful tool. So keep practicing, keep learning, and never underestimate the importance of careful proofreading. Happy proofreading!